In this section, we'll be speaking about quadratic spline. So based on the following data points, we have to construct quadratic spline functions and also find the approximate value of y at x is equal to 1.5. So let's start working on it. At first, I would like to label the points here as this is x0, y0, x1, y1, x2, y2. Now we can go ahead and start working. So before this, let me write down the spline formula for quadratic splines. So you have qix is equal to zi plus 1 minus zi divided by 2 times xi plus 1 minus xi times x minus xi squared plus zi times x minus xi plus yi. So as you can see over here, we have unknowns, or we have knowns that are x values and y values. We know that from the data points above here, but we have unknowns z. We don't know their values. So first we'll work to find out the values for z. And for that, we have a separate formula, which is zi plus 1 is equal to minus zi plus 2 times yi plus 1 minus yi divided by xi plus 1 minus xi, where the values of I are between 0 and n minus 1. So here, for example, for us over here, we have 3 data points. So n is equal to 3. The values of I will be, because it's starting from 0, so it will be 3 minus 1, 2. And that's why you have the values of x's here as 0 starting and 2 as ending, right? Okay. Now, first we'll assume z0 to be equal to 0. And then we'll find out the value for z1, which is equal to minus zi. So here we have I is equal to 0. So here we have z0 plus 2 times y0 plus 1 is 1 minus y0 divided by x0 plus 1 is 1 minus x0. Now if we put in the values here, we'll get here minus z0, which is minus 0, plus 2 times y1 is 2, minus y0 is 0, divided by x1 is 0, minus x0 is minus 2, so minus is plus here. That will be 0 plus 2. And that will be totally equal to 2 here. So that's the value for z1. Now for z2, you have minus z1 plus 2 times y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now if we put in the values, we have z1, just now we got is 2 here. So we have here minus 2 plus 2 times y2 is 7 minus y1 is 2 divided by x2 is 2 minus x1 is 0. And if you solve that here, you will get the value here as 3. That's the value for Z2. So here we have got the value for Z1 as 2 and Z2 as 3. And for Z0, we have considered it as 0. Okay, now we'll use this value to get our splines. And as we have 3 data points, we'll have 2 splines between each data point. So between these 2 data points here, we have the spline Q0. And between these 2 data points here, we have the spline Q1. So before I go ahead and find out the splines, let me copy down the formula here. Okay. So for Q0x, we have here I is 0, so Z0 plus 1 is 1. So here we have Z1 minus Z0 divided by 2 times X1 minus X0 times X minus X0 squared plus Z0 times X minus X0 plus we have Y0. Now, if we replace the values, we just got Z1 as 2 minus Z0, we consider it as 0 here. So we have 2 times X1 was, if we look back, we had X1 is 0 and we have X0 is minus 2. So here we have X1 is 0 minus 2, so 0 plus 2 times X minus 2 again, so X plus 2 squared plus Z0 is 0. So 0 times anything, this entire term would be a 0. So we'll not write that down. And then we have Y0 is 0. So if you solve this one here, you will get 2 minus 0 is 2, divided by 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 divided by 4 is 1 over 2 times X plus 2 squared. That's Q0. Maybe I'll write it at the top here. Yeah, that's better. Now, let us go ahead and find out Q1 of X, which is equal to Z1 plus 1 is 2 minus Z1 divided by 2 times X2 minus X1 times we have X minus X1 squared plus Z1 times X minus X1 plus Y1. Now Z2, we just got the value here as 3. So that's 3 minus Z1, which is 2, divided by 2 times X2 is 2 minus X1 is 0, times X minus X1 is 0, squared plus Z1 is 2 times X minus X1 plus Y1 is 2. Now here, if you solve this, you will get here 1 over 4 times X squared plus 2X plus 2. So we got our both the splines here now, and we can write it in a better way. That is, we can write it in this way. Qx is equal to the 2 splines, that is Q0 x, which is equal to 1/2 times x plus 2 squared, and q1x, which is 1/4 times x squared plus 2x plus 2. And here the x is between the values of -2 to 0. So these x values, I believe you know, that is here the values from x0 to x1, -2 to 0, and then from 0 to 2. So here we'll write it as -2 to 0, and in the second spline, the values of x are between 0 to 2. Now, if you look at the question back here, they told us find also the approximate value of y at 1.5. So the y at 1.5 will be in the second spline here, right? So here we have values from 0 to 2, and 1.5 will be in between here somewhere. So 1.5 will be here somewhere. So we'll use the second spline, or you can, that's Q1. So we're finding now y of 1.5, and for that we'll take the spline 1/4 x squared plus 2x plus 2. And now we'll replace the x with the value 1.5. So 1/4 times 1.5 squared plus 2 times 1.5 plus 2. And that is equal to 5.5625. And that's the end of this section.